Welcome, gang, to my very first live drawing stream. I was going to do this last night for the storytellers at the usual time, 8 o'clock, but I had problems connecting my iPad to my computer you have to do it via QuickTime. And I was MFing this and MFing that. I was so angry I couldn't get the damn thing uh, uh, to connect, but I finally figured it out. I had to reboot some things and replug, and it was a whole rigmarole. So I got it squared away today. So we're going to do a live drawing stream, and I'm going to show you the process of how I create Alien Alamo pages and just about any pages going forward from here. So let me share the screen here. So I work in Procreate, which is a very user-friendly application on my iPad Pro. The first thing I have to do is create a template. So I took an old board of DC Comics board that had the markings on it and everything. I scanned it in and I adjusted it, and then I have that in a folder. So I just import that, and it's at artboard size of 11 by 17. So let's see here. There we go. So there's our board. And now you can put layers and draw right on this if you wanted to. And typically what I'll do is I'll put a layer on and start my layout process. But for Alien Alamo, it's a little different because I wanted to have actual physical layouts because I'm planning on doing a, what's it called, ash can. And I was having one of the perks be the original art, the original layouts of the entire story. So I needed hard copy of that stuff. So I just did that old school way. I printed out my layout template and penciled my layouts, and then I go over them with some markers. And then I just take a photograph of it with my camera and then import it in. So this is what a layout looks like. I've dropped back the opacity on this a bit. So you can see it's relatively rough, but the storytelling is all there. And depending on the page, a lot of changes will get made because I'm of the mind that you got to move forward. You can't get stuck on something. Just get it down on paper, move forward, and come back to it if you have to with a fresh mind. Because a lot of times you'll get paralyzed trying to figure something out. So this is what I do. And it helps with your storytelling because you can, and it really helps with deadlines. So once this is done, I drop back the opacity and I'll throw another layer over it for the pencils to tighten it up. So I've already done that on this page. Okay, so you can see I'll drop the sketch back. Okay, and that's what I have to work with. Get rid of that. Okay, so this is what pencils look like for me to ink. Now, I'm sure you guys have seen some of my Batman pencils, Detective Comics pencils. They're very, very tight because somebody else is inking it, and you just never know what you're going to get. So I try to make it what they call idiot proof. And it never is. It never is. But when you're inking it yourself, for me, what I like is the spontaneity of it. If you draw the hell out of something and you put in too much, that doesn't translate in the inks. You lose the energy of the drawing. So I try to keep it relatively loose. So I've started some inks. So the next point is to bring another layer in. Oh, we gotta get that reconnected. Here we go. So I started inking Travis on the horse here. Now, what I'll do is I'm going to just go ahead and my pencil isn't working. Hold on. There we go. Had to reconnect because I had to reboot. Okay. So we're going to come back to this, and this will be the live drawing. I'll be drawing on this. But what I wanted to do was show you a process. These are all my files, and I'm not going to blow them up because I don't want to spoil anything. Okay, this is the one I was going to use because I've posted this all over the place. So let's show the video of the creation of this, and I'll show you the finished product. So this is obviously all sped up. There's a counter. It's being blocked right now by my Compass Comics logo. And at the end, we'll go over exactly how much time was spent on this page because it captures everything. Now that time doesn't include the original layout and the marker drawing, but you'll get the drift. The nice thing about working digitally is you can import your reference right into your page to either look at or to trace if you need to, like that Jeep. And there's no point me half-assing and trying to draw it small like that when I can find the angle I need and trace it so that all the accoutrements and little details get right. Little changes got made, like I had that guy with a Tom Selleck mustache, but originally I had him with kind of a more wispy mustache, and I realized it, and I changed it from the pencils. You know, that panel right there where I'm drawing the boy, it's the exact same panel or body language in the next panel, so I can just copy it and drag it over and change his eyes. Helps to speed things up. If you guys throw up super chats, I'm going to try out my new tagline today. If you were watching 31 Days of Monsters, you know we were trying out some taglines because I don't want to copy Ethan's and say that ain't cheap. So we were bantering around a bunch of different ones. Oh shit! Wasn't paying attention. There we go. Because I wasn't doing anything on the iPad, it just shut itself down. I gotta watch that. So right now I got 2 hours and 15 seconds into this, or 15 minutes into it. So when I gotta draw hardware like that, like Jeeps, planes, helicopters, and stuff, I hate drawing that stuff. So to be able to find the reference, to be able to match it and get it exactly right is fantastic. I'm no Russ Heath. It's like the Lone Ranger and Tonto riding away. That's what I had in my mind when I was drawing the horses and stuff. That's a cool brush that I have in Procreate. It's technically clouds, but I use a gray tone or black, and then I utilize it for smoke and dust, and it's a great effect. I really like the way this page laid out and came out. I like the open panel so that the story breathes, and it acts as a transition because we're transitioning from sequence where they're all together to a time period that has passed, and now we're back with the two guys that rode away someplace else without having to throw some kind of caption like "Meanwhile." So that's a great way to change when you change your spacing or your panel arrangements to add a timing beat into it, a timestamp, if you will. And as always, leave your readers wanting in that last panel. So we set it up there where, all of a sudden we cut away and he's looking at something, and then we see what he's looking at. And, you got to find out what the hell is going on. So you want to turn the page. Okay, that was it. So that took 4 hours, almost 5 hours, 4 hours, 54 minutes. Add another hour in for the original layout. So you're looking at about 6 hours, something like that, on a page like this. The pages vary. Some I got a page that took me almost 3 days. Okay, so let's go over to this. Now here's the actual finished page with the colors laid over it, done by Greg. What's great about working digitally like this is the ability to add light sources via a layer of gray tones, and I think that helps immensely because you're not leaving it up to the colorist anymore to decide where your light sources are or shading or anything like that. You can get in there and really lay it down. So like the shadows that are being cast by the hats, were in the gray tone layer. And then Greg chooses the proper colors to make that stuff pop. And, I think that's a terrific page. I think it came out great. So there we go. Oops. All right, so let's get back to our gallery and our page that we're working on. Now here's the other thing that sort of helped me push myself into the digital realm. One was I've got enough artwork. I've got enough original artwork sitting around. I had stopped selling it like 20 years ago. You can see over my this shoulder right here, right back there. You can see a little bit of my flat file, which houses a lot of art. And then in the basement area, I've got boxes of FedEx boxes of artwork. And I'm not too keen to add more stuff. So that was one reason. I don't work entirely digital, but it does for certain things, it does speed things up. And here's the other thing. You look at these little figures in panel 2 there, that vertical panel. And when you're working on a board, I got glasses, right? So I've got the regular glasses that I wear are bifocals. So, I've got problem with distance and problem with close up. So that happens when you get old. What can I tell you? Especially when you're staring at a board for 38 years. But when you're drawing small, what I find is that it's in a dead zone. So if I'm trying to ink a tiny figure, I'm like this, I'm trying to get it, and I can't, so I'm like, I can't get the details that I want to get in there. So with this, I just go whoop, I blow it up, and I can see it perfectly, and I can put in all the details that I need to. So that's one of the advantages that I have. All right. Let me just say good morning to some folks that are in here before we actually start the drawing. Past Master Dan is here. Thank you for stopping in. Hyper Kaiju, howdy gang. He just finished watching Invasion of the Body Snatchers. Excellent. You'll be all set for tomorrow. AJ Tom says, Hail Graham. Thanks for midday stream. You're welcome. Joe Bernardo. Aloha, Graham. Aloha, Joe. Raven Saber. This is like 31 Days of Monsters Club. Neon Todd Studio says, hey. Damifino says, good morning. Coach Patches O'Houlihan. Pros before hoes. That's pretty funny. A.G. Tom has a question. Did you teach yourself to draw digital using Procreate, or did you start with a different type of software and move to Procreate? Also, do you use an Apple Pencil or something else? Yeah, I use the Apple Pencil, and I did teach myself on Procreate. I didn't want to invest in a Wacom tablet because of the cost, and I wasn't sure I was going to like the process of working on it. So I wanted to get in with less overhead. So I bought the iPad Pro because it could double for a lot of things, and I discovered the Procreate app, and it was very user friendly. I understood it, so there wasn't a huge learning curve on it. Did you find it hard to draw from the tablet instead of when you draw on paper? You directly draw where your pencil is. I can create graphics on a screen, but I have that problem. No, I draw directly on the screen, just like it was paper. The only difference is that there's no texture to it. It's kind of smooth. So there's screens you can put on to add a little roughness, a little texture so that your pencil doesn't glide so easily, but I haven't done that yet. Well, the old school tablets, they were like that, where you had to look at the screen and draw on the tablet, and I tried that, and I was like, that was one of the detriments for me to actually go digital. Brody Mullet says, hail chat, hail Chad, Master Graham. That's Dad Zero's here again. Hello. I just got back from the future, read this book in one sitting. I didn't see the ending coming. Spot gloss on the covers. Looks great. Yes, it does. Well, Leroy, let's give it a try. Leroy. Thank you for the 350 super chat. That's a good cigar. All right. Thank you. Frankie says, been thinking about what you said about the Killing Joke. You made me realize that I tacked an ending onto the Killing Joke that wasn't there. Aha! Yeah, we talked about that this morning. Somehow it came up on 31 Days of Monsters. Neon Todd Studio is here. Hello. Andrew Taz is here. Hello. My pal Dennis Shoemate is here. Hey, Dennis. Dennis just couldn't suffer the idea that we were at 114K, 114.9 K. We needed like, we needed like 14, 15 bucks. He couldn't suffer that, so he went in there and blasted us through to 115K. He was our hero yesterday. Well done, Dennis. Everybody who's backed the project's the hero because we can't get that high without everybody else. But every once in a while, you got to step over the line. And now we're on our way to 116. Okay. All right. Why don't we say we get some drawing done? Okay. So I got it blown up to around the size I need. I've got this Sketchboard Pro, which is like a lap board that your iPad goes into, so it gives you lots of space on either side. I'll see if I can show it to you here. Yeah, see that it's in there. The plug is on the side. You can see that white thing. It goes right in the side. It's out of your way, and there's legs on it, so you can stand it up vertically or horizontally. So, oh, we have a pumpkin sighting. Hello, pumpkin. Oh, hello, sweetie. Okay. All right. She, Pumpkin doesn't like Jim Aparo. When she was a puppy, she ate 2 Jim Aparo comics on me. She didn't eat anybody else's but Jim Aparo. So I don't know what kind of taste that dog has. Okay, so beauty here is that you can see this little brush that's in blue up there. If I can click that, I have all different types of brushes I can choose from. I prefer the studio brush that came with Procreate because it's similar to a regular brush in that you can get thick and thins on it. She's up there ringing the bells to go out. Well, she's just going to have to hold it till Julie comes home in about 10-15 minutes. Okay. Now, one of the things that's cool in Procreate 2 is that if you hold your line, it will either do a straight line, or if you do a curve, it will curve the line for you. So there's no need for French curves or anything like that. So this one's not too big a curve, but I'm gonna try it. If I go slow. See, it turned that one into a straight line because it wasn't quite enough curve. But I'll just show you here, like if I go like this, see how squiggly that is? I'm doing that on purpose. Now I hold it, it straightens it out to a really nice curve. And all I got to do is take 2 fingers and tap, and that erases it. So that's the other advantage, is that I'm not having to change brushes, clean brushes, do white out brushes. Just a quick little boom, and off she goes. Okay, let's start on Mr. Horsey's face. I'm drawing the horses and the dog and the animals in an anthropomorphic style to give them personality and give them some of that cartoony look. Henceforth, the eyes and the expressions. Here's an example. I'm going to hold it. Boom. And I'll do the same on the other side. So you got a nice curve. So I can turn it too. So I don't have to turn my paper, or, well, not paper, but my screen. It was funny when I was at Terrificon this past summer. I was doing commission drawings, and I was doing something small, and I found myself going like this, trying to expand the paper because I'm so used to drawing on this. Isn't that crazy? Another thing, which is nice, I'll show you here real quick, is you can do like a drop bucket. So if you have an area that is self-contained. Let's say I'll just do this right here. Okay, so I got that self-contained. It's a little open in there. Can't have that. And I just go up to my color choice, which in this case is black. Hold on it, drag it, drop it, fills it in. That's pretty nice. A lot of time savers. Excuse me a sec, guys. Pumpkin, no! She's relentless. When she wants something, my God, she doesn't give up. Shoot, I made my curve wrong there. Just gonna continue it. So I just tap that, and I can erase whatever I need to. So that's coming along. Let's just pop in here, see who's got one. Old Dirty Fatty says, I'd super chat, but I got a new card and I didn't set it up yet. That's all right. It's okay. Kaiju says pumpkin. Metcalf says doggy. Andrew Tez says doggy. Jim Aparo, art so good you can eat it. That's true. I think I sold Joe on a digital tablet. Yeah, she's bell trained. She rings the hell out of it when she wants to go out. Oh, she's crate trained. Yeah, she sleeps in her crate at night, and when we leave, she goes in there. Channeling Toth, he loves it. Nothing wrong with Toth. Ouch. Well, Paul loves the clean lines and simple style. Well, thank you. Yeah, I've always been a minimalist. You know, my heroes were cartoonists, not illustrators. I like the idea of being succinct, and guys like Toth and Roy Crane were masters of this stuff. Kubert too. You know, you don't. It's not what you're putting in so much as it is what you're leaving out. You know, anybody can put a ton of shit in into a drawing, and today many people do. But Here I can increase the size of my brush too, so I don't have to go over it a second time if I need a nice big fat juicy line. It's pressure sensitive, so I can get something thin like this or deep and thick. It's been fun drawing in this style. I don't know why I'm doing that. I should just go like this so that I don't mess it up. There we go. So that's the beauty. It's that. Now I just go back with my trusty little eraser. And I can pick out little highlights like that. And I can erase the area that the rains are going to go through. Bada bing, bada boom. Now, of course, this is completely blown up. Any little mistakes or slight line wiggles, that kind of stuff, you won't see, because when we shrink it down, see? That's one of the things, the drawbacks, is that because you blow it up and you see little mistakes, you have to uh, guard yourself from getting too involved in fixing all that stuff, because you have to remember it's not going to print like that. You're not going to see every little thing like that. So it's really important that when you blow something up, that you correct the necessary things, but you don't stop and noodle the shit out of little things that when it shrinks back to its printed size, you're never going to see. So that's the double-edged sword of working digitally, is you want to fix everything. All of these little details I don't bother drawing in, because I'll get to them in the inks. The one thing about Procreate that still needs to be worked out is the borders. See, I draw around these borders here, but the reason I do that is because there's no brush that gives you a sharp-edged square. There's no way to create those at this point. So once this file is done, the gray tones are on it, uh, I send it out to Photoshop, and then I drop the borders in there. I format it into its proper template, the actual print template. So I have to go in there anyway to put it into the template. So I just figure, well, I'll add the borders in there too, because they look better. You know, I can stroke the border, and it's got razor sharp edges. You know, it's nothing, no roundness to it or anything. Donald Delay, hello. What I missed? Did anyone ask him how he's screen capturing his iPad? Yeah, I'll tell you. Nobody asked that, but I'll tell you. You have to connect your iPad to your computer, you know, via the Lightning port or whatever the cable is that your iPad uses. Then you open up QuickTime, and you select from file. I think it's new movie recording, and then a window will pop up. If it's a picture of you, and that means it's using your computer's camera, there's a little arrow on that screen. You click on that arrow, and then it should read your iPad. And then you click on the iPad, and then the screen becomes shared. And then if you're streaming live like I am through StreamYard, then you just share the screen as you share any other screen. No square tool on that program? Weird. Well, I haven't been able to find one. So if any of you guys are better skilled in Procreate than I am, let me know, because I'd sure like to do it. Photoshop isn't traditionally designed for drawing. You can use it that way, but a program like Procreate is designed for illustration and cartooning. So that's why it's easier to work in. See, I like thick and thin lines. I like to have a wide variety of line weights. I think it makes the drawings pop. It gives them life. I don't like that dead line inking, which is very modern. I mean, some people do it well. You know, I think, you know, who started that? It was sort of like, started like, I guess, with Adam Hughes and that Art Nouveau influence of that hard, same thickness outline, and then finer lines inside, held by color. And if the style is right, yeah, that looks great. But I've never liked it on mine. I tend to be more organic, I think, and that could be why. Boom de boom. All that horse's face. I think it looks really cool. Very expressionist. Ex not expressionist. Expressionistic, maybe? That's his Winchester with the butt of sticking out of its scabbard. Julie just got home, so now Pumpkin can finally go outside. Hallelujah. So I'll show you what happens when I try to do a fill that doesn't have all the lines connected. Oops. Thankfully, I can double click and make it all go away. And we shrink it down, and that drawing is starting to come to life. This is one of my favorite parts in the process, is the inking. The layouts are so important, and that's where all the money is, but that's where all the work is, and that's why. But the inking is much more organic. You can just chill, put a movie on while you're doing it, you know, that kind of stuff. Hey, my bro, Art T. Bear is here. Hey, buddy. Glad to see you. Getting shit done, son. Wait, what? Is Graham's super chat broken? I can't super chat anyone. I had one super chat already. Cool Cotton uses Clip Studio Paint. That's a great program too, but I haven't mastered the learning curve of that one. That one you can make borders in. It's strictly made for comics, which is great, but I haven't decided I wanted to go through a learning curve again. Uh, uh, Jbot tweeted on Twitter on how you can do perfect squares and rectangles in Procreate. Hope it helps. Oh, thank you. I will take a look at that. Absolutely. So typically what I would do is I would shade a lot of this stuff, put my typical kind of noirish shadows on things. But because of the style I'm working in, I'm trying to keep things open to let the color shine and so that I can put gray tones in. Uh, oh, everything shows up, doesn't it? Um, and put gray tones in for light sources and stuff like that. So uh, typically, there'd be a lot more shadowing uh, in black on this horse to define things and stuff. But again, it's more cartoony, and I'm finding I want to leave it open and let the color kind of speak for itself because it really pops. One of the problems I have, and I don't want this to sound like uh, old man talk, um, but there's validity to the oversaturation of information in comics today. Um, we're not making movies. You have static panels and you need your reader to understand how to flow through. If you put too much stuff in and they stop to marvel at all the noodly shit, you've taken them out of the story and you failed at your job to tell an exciting immersive story. So by letting the lines hold color and shadows defining shapes without, there's a certain amount of detail that's necessary. And if you want somebody to look to a certain area, that's sparse, you put detail in it. If you put detail everywhere, you don't know where to look. And it's just one big mess, and it's an assault on the eyes. The great filmmakers knew this, and they knew how to frame that stuff on the screen. And the great cartoonists knew how to do this too. I wish more people today would learn this technique. Yeah, there we go. All right, let's jump over to some small figures here. I'll show you how that works out. Now, there's a couple ways I could do this. I could get a smaller brush and go in there. Or I could do something like this. I could go down to the pencil layer, okay, select a figure that I want. Let's say this guy here. This is Travis. Okay, I'm going to select Travis. I'm going to blow him up. Now I'm going to drop. Nope, let's do it this. Okay, we're going to create a new layer. There we go. Where's my copy and paste? All right, let's start over. Here we go. So I'm going to select Travis, then copy and paste. Okay, now Travis is on a separate layer. Okay, so I'm going to select him. I'm going to blow him up like that. Then I will just drop out my pencil layer, and then I just have this, okay, to ink over. So I'll drop the opacity down on that. And then Select a different brush. I'm going to go with a technical brush because it's there's less bounce in it. And then I can just start drawing on this. Oops. Okay, I got to do one more layer. We'll call this Travis. Okay. Now, got my brush selected. Okay. So this is pretty rough. That is really a pretty crappy sketch. It's particularly now that it's blown up. But I can actually kind of draw, or I should say almost really sketch on this layer. Because remember, this thing is going to get down to like this big. It's even going to be less than that. But this is where you run into problems too. I'm showing this as an example. I probably wouldn't do this because I'm going to add probably too much detail, you know. Okay, I'm just going to quickly rough this stuff in. Okay, now watch what happens if I get rid of that. Okay, now that's pretty rough, right? Let's get our pencils back. Our inks are still there. I'm going to select Travis now. We're going to shrink him down to the size he needs to be. Something like that. Close enough for rock and roll here. Okay, so if I get rid of the pencils, you can see that it holds together. All those little scratches, just you don't see them. So that's another way of working with small figures like that in this digital process. You know, if it's important to have a certain amount of detail as opposed to doing the Joe Kubert clothespin figures, which are great too. You know, it all depends on what you're looking for, but that's an option. All right, let's see who's here. Hi, Christina Lynn. I'm going to have a script to you pretty soon. Got to wait for till I finish the last of the pages. I got 14 more pages to go. Then I'll write the dialogue for it and send that off to you. Do you like George Perez? Was he a detail guy? Oh yeah, he was a detail guy. George is a nice guy, and his career is unassailable. For me, though, I never cared for his style. It was a lot of what I talk about, too much. The figures didn't feel organic, and just it was loaded with background detail just to load stuff up. It kind of showed patience as opposed to design skill, personally. But he's a very nice man, and I wish I had his career or his royalty checks. Graham, was your process for drawing digitally significantly different for the work you did on the Chinook? No, it was exactly the same. Um, the only difference is there was no color, so I sort of painted grayscale uh, in lieu of the color. So it wasn't just defining light sources; it was shaping things as well. That was the only difference. Uh, Dr. Mask Retro Elixir has a PSA for all of you. Hit that like button like Joe Biden hits an ice cream cone. Stat Zero's been on a Tim Sale kick lately, taking a look at the figure exaggeration. Cool. Don Rosa put a lot of detail in his work. After reading his work for an hour, so I actually felt fatigue set in. Past Master Dan says, get Henry Cavill to play that guy. Travis, I think he means. Travis is actually based on John Krasinski, believe it or not. Alrighty, gang. I think I break for lunch. I gotta get fitted for a suit today because my daughter is getting married on the 23rd of this month. So I've got an appointment at 2, so I got to grab lunch and then head on out there. So I hope you enjoyed this first live stream. Well, it's not the first live stream; it's first drawing live stream. As we went over some of the techniques of using Procreate and working in a digital platform. If you haven't checked out Alien Alamo, please do so. It's in the description of this show, so you can click the link and go back. You're going to want to get this book now that you've seen some of these amazing pages. Here's the gallery of all the pages of the book so far. So this is going to be awesome. I am working on page 47 now of 59 pages. So please back it. I appreciate it. Okay, gang, you guys have a great rest of the day. For those of you that tune in for the 31 Days of Monsters, we'll see you tomorrow at 8 o'clock for the Invasion of the Body Snatchers. And we'll see you tonight, actually, on Fraga's channel for the Professionals. So if you're a fan of that, go over to Dan's channel tonight, and all the bros will be there. So thanks again for